up guys, John here, back with another tips and advice video. As you guys know, I volunteered at a lot of different animal sanctuaries, mostly across Africa, but also in Central America. So if you're looking to volunteer with animals on your next trip, or if you just want to have some wildlife experiences, these are my top 5 tips. Before I get into that, this video is brought to you by a company called Jellycomb. They make things like wireless keyboard and mouse combos, or even foldable keyboards that you can use with your tablet and take with you on your next trip. This keyboard is actually the thinnest keyboard on the market, and a really cool thing about these Jellycomb products is that you only need one USB receiver. So you just plug in one USB and both devices are connected. I got these ones called the Jungle series, and my favorite one is the Lion, obviously. So if you're in the market for a wireless keyboard and mouse or other electronics that are sleek and ergonomic, you can find the links down below. So voluntourism is a massive global industry, and typically the way it works with wildlife voluntourism is you travel to another country and you donate your time working at facilities that help take care of animals. Voluntourism gives you the opportunity to gain experiences that you ordinarily wouldn't get. You get up close and personal with animals that you wouldn't see in your home country. You can learn about animals in a really hands-on and unique way. You can gain valuable work experience if you're interested in that career field, or it can be a fun holiday where you just gain experiences that you would never have anywhere else. Caring for wild animals can be extremely expensive, and most of these places are not government funded. So normally you volunteer in exchange for a donation to the facility. These donations usually go towards the animal's food, facility maintenance, vet bills. So voluntourism can be a very positive thing for both the volunteer and for the facility. There are thousands of volunteer projects all over the world, and like you'd expect, they're not all created equal. So my first tip would be to make sure to do your research. The beauty of the world that we live in now is that we have the internet, and we have access to so much more information than we used to just even a few years ago. Find out some important things about the project and the facility before you go. Is it a sanctuary? Is it a commercial zoo? Is it basically just a private petting zoo for tourists? These are important things to find out ahead of time. Any reputable company or booking agency will be happy to answer any questions that you have. Find out about the type of work you'll be doing there. Will you mostly be working with the animals? Will you be working with tourists? Will you be doing maintenance work outside? I've been to a lot of different places, so I've done all different types of jobs. Preparing the animals food, feeding the animals, scooping tons and tons of poops. If you're working with animals, you're probably going to do a lot of that. So if you're looking for a specific type of experience, make sure that you ask before you go. In most legitimate projects out there, you're not going to be just playing with animals all day. If all you want to do is play with animals and not do any work, then volunteering with animals probably isn't for you. In my experience, most of the volunteer projects that you will go to don't allow you to book directly with the facility. For a lot of these projects that have a third-party booking company, a lot of those companies are not located in the same country as the project. For example, the first time I went to South Africa, the reason why I booked with Volunteer Southern Africa was because they are actually located in South Africa. With some of the other companies that I looked at, their headquarters were in Europe. A lot of them gave me misinformation. A lot of them just didn't really know that much about the projects themselves. But with VSA, they knew exactly what was going on, and they had their own representatives working at the projects and regularly visiting the different ones. And this brings me to my number 2 tip. Know what red flags to look out for. If a sanctuary constantly has a revolving door of baby animals, it's probably not a legitimate place. Now, having a lot of baby animals or a lot coming in and out, that does not necessarily mean that the place is not legitimate. However, if you're going to a place that always has new baby animals like every week or every other week, and if those baby animals are only being used as props for pictures for tourists, I would say that's probably a place that you should stay away from. Now, in my own videos on this channel, you've seen many videos where there's people interacting with lions or cheetahs. That facility does not breed animals. They do have animals that have been rescued from bad situations, animals that have been orphaned or abandoned, and some of the interactions that you've seen in these videos is specifically for the betterment of the animals. So every single time you see interactions between wild animals and people, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing, but again, this is why it's important to do your research. Another red flag, if a facility has lions that regularly interact with humans, and they're telling you those lions are going to be released into the wild, that is a big red flag, because for the most part, lions in captivity that are used to humans, it's almost impossible to successfully release them into the wild. I know in some cases, under all of the right circumstances, sometimes cheetahs can be released into the wild even if they've been around people, but for the most part, that can't be done with lions and most other big cats. Number 3, know what wildlife experiences specifically to stay away from. For anyone who loves animals, we love getting to be around them and interact with them. Sometimes interaction is okay or seems okay on the surface, but it can be very detrimental. Things I would recommend specifically staying away from: elephant back riding. From a lot of the research that I've done, documentaries that I've seen, or things I've just seen with my own eyes, typically these elephants are severely abused and they go through a horrible process which is meant to crush their spirits. Although elephants are big, strong animals, their backs are not designed to hold the weight of those giant seats that you'll often see when people do elephant back riding. The weight of those seats and the people can dig into their backs and cause all kinds of injuries and deformities. When I was in Thailand, we didn't do any elephant back riding. We did go to an elephant sanctuary where we got to help feed them and bathe them and things like that. With everything that I know now about elephant back riding, I would strongly recommend staying away from that on your next trip. Another thing you want to stay away from is roadside attractions. Roadside zoos or traveling zoos, oftentimes it consists of like a pop-up tent. A group of people will have some wild animals that they'll charge the public to come and take photos with. A lot of times these animals are not well taken care of, they're in very small cages, they're not fed adequately. Another thing to stay away from: captive dolphin experiences. Now this is something I have to admit that I have done in the past. In these dolphin shows, the dolphins are often not kept in great conditions, they're forced to do these things that they don't want to do. This may sound very hypocritical coming from me, but from what I know now about these dolphin shows, it's probably best to avoid those at all costs. Now this brings me to tip number 4, go and see animals in the wild. Now I know, not everyone has the time or the money to simply buy a plane ticket and fly thousands of miles to go see wild animals. But if you have the opportunity, there's nothing more beautiful than seeing a happy animal in its natural habitat. I've been incredibly blessed to see these things firsthand, and I know not everyone can do that. If this is something that's possible and if it's something that you can do, always go and see animals in their natural habitat. It's something that's just indescribable. Number 5, always treat the animals with respect. Now I know as human beings, oftentimes we treat animals like they're just our personal property to do what we want with. But like us, animals are living beings that need to be respected. Try to always visit sanctuaries or facilities that are actually doing good things for the animals, and stay away from things that seem harmful to the animals or exploitive. I'm not perfect, and even on this very channel, I have visited places that, knowing what I know now, I would not go back to. As human beings, it's important that we're always learning, growing, and evolving. There are certain things that were acceptable just a few years ago that are no longer acceptable now. Some people don't agree with zoos. Some people say that you can't truly love animals unless you're vegan. There are a lot of differing opinions, but I think one thing we can all agree on is that animals need to be respected. If you want to see more animal videos, you can see some of those right here and down in the description. I know the videos have been really slow lately. I know I haven't been uploading that often, but I am working on some new stuff. I'm going to some new countries very soon, fingers crossed. If you have questions, comments, concerns, any tips or advice that you would give about animals, make sure to leave those comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, and I'll see you very soon with another new adventure.